Next up out of the strong close, we have some run plays. We'll start with the halfback dive. It's just a basic inside run play. We'll continue. We'll just go random here. So here, very easy inside run. Like I said, if you have like a spread defense, not too difficult at all. Really nothing to it. Like I said, if you have an inside lane, like right here, not necessarily the biggest inside lane. This is just a play to keep your opponent honest. A lot of times the outside run plays will get more attention. So you just have this to basically go up the middle. And it's going to be best against things like cover 2 because the safeties drop back, making them weaker in run support. Next up, we have also a somewhat inside run play in the halfback zone weak. This play here, it's really more like a stretch run, but you can take it inside. You're really just making a single read here. As if I'm going towards this hole and somebody's coming unblocked, you got to cut it back and it becomes like an inside run. But if the blocking holds up, like right here, we kind of have a disadvantage. I don't expect the blocking to hold up here. So I'm just going to take it up the middle, as that's really the cutback lane, but that can be the primary lane depending on what you're seeing pre-snap. Like right here, we should have a man-on-man here to the point where I could probably just get outside into this lane or even take it to the edge to the left. So this is something where if I flip the play, the blocking typically doesn't flip, but that's not necessarily the end of the world considering that I have a tight end on that side anyway. So you do have the option to flip this, but I would say that like pre-snap here, you can see I got 3 guys on 3 guys with the linebacker being the one to beat here. So if he, for whatever reason, crashes down into that gap, I have to either cut it left or right. That's really the easiest way to describe it. Right here, once again, we got 3 on 3, so it's not really a concern. The linebacker there, or the fullback there, you can see just runs right past him and goes down level to the safety. So he's not necessarily a help, but he is a help if you follow him to that safety. As you can see right here, we get a really big, easy run, which probably could have been a touchdown if I had to cut across that guy a little bit better. So here we go once again. We have 3 on 3 from the center to the tackle with the linebacker in that gap. So at the wide side linebacker right here, he doesn't get picked up. It's really on me if I have to cut back across the fullback early or cut to the outside. Here's the 3 on 3. I don't know if this combo block's going to get down there. As you can see, it doesn't necessarily pull off. So stuff like that's not going to be the best indicator to run this play. If you have, like right here, we have 3 on 3 with like almost 2 guys in the box with that safety. This is not a really good look. You can see here, he shoots that gap, basically makes me come across or makes me cut it short. But like this type of look here, this is a look where you can cut that back because we have 3 on 3 with the linebacker. I just got to watch the middle linebacker. He shoots the other gap. I can go outside here, which I tried to do, and it worked out because Barkley's basically lit up. But it's a good run play to have in your arsenal. It's not necessarily always the most useful, considering that you're really just kind of working it based off of what gap you see. The best runs are probably the edge runs, like the stretch and the toss. As I didn't mean to do that. We'll just go ahead and pick auto or pick random again. I don't know why it's not letting me pick random. There we go. So we have an edge, and the fullback outside here typically helps to seal that edge, as stretch runs can be very good, especially against things like cover 3 and cover 4, because the cornerbacks drop back, making it very difficult for them to be effective in run support. As you can see right here, he just dropped back and took himself out of the play. I mean, it really wasn't even he didn't even really get blocked. It's just the fact that they dropped back. Now cover 2 is a little different. Man coverages might be different. This here looks like it's a cover 4, same thing. Cover 4 safeties drop back, and a lot of times you really just run to the edge, as Barkley probably just lost his X factor there. But that's fine. Like I said, it's a good run to the edge. It's not always, it's not always a guarantee. You can see when it hits, though, it hits, and it's an explosive play. But you can see a couple of these plays here. I'm not quite getting that corner, and it does help to have a 95 speed Saquon to get to the edge here too. You typically want to run this to the wide side. Also, I'm running from the middle, but you can see how the blocking a lot of times sets up very easily for some big runs, especially against things like cover 3 and cover 4. Here's another one. They run fake runoffs too for man coverage. As you can see here, it's really just about sprinting and getting outside. It really isn't no cutback lanes or anything like that. Just a very direct and basic play. You also have a toss run, which I don't like as much. So we have the halfback zone toss here. This play here is okay, but it's like sometimes this one here, actually, it's not like your traditional toss play where you have like pulling guards. It really just seems like a man-on-man blocking, strength on strength. So even though it is a toss play, and you can see the man covers the fake runoff there, the receiver just ran completely off the field and the defender followed him. So whether it's man or zone, these fake runoffs typically can do a pretty good job. Here you can see, like I said, there is opportunity as Barkley just keeps getting lit up. I don't know how I didn't lose my thing there, but you can see how, this is not like your typical pulling blocks. It's not as effective to me. To me, the stretch is much better. The blocks just hold much better. Even though we don't have a lot of pulling guys on this toss play for targeting issues, it's still just not as effective as a play. To me, it's just a regular stretch. Now, we also have an end around, which this here, a lot of times this edge can just blow contain. You know what I mean? Like, he just sucks inside, and on that play, it didn't necessarily work. Some plays are better than others. I think the one out of the I-form close is a little bit better than this one, but you can see how, they're actually, he just blows contain here. It just lets him pass. It's really comes down to what that defensive end does. If he waits, if he holds up, it's going to be, like right here, he blows inside too far, I can get outside. It's a pretty easy play. You can't really overuse this. I think your opponent might start chasing it, but if they do chase it, then you'll also have a second play here, which is designed for that. It's the halfback slash fake end around. So if for whatever reason your opponent starts seeing this motion, you can see that motion really isn't much of a tell anyway. Like on the fake, it doesn't actually do too much. So this here is really just a good inside run. But you can see we're actually getting, to me, this might be the better inside run to use because we're getting some pretty big holes here. Now that obviously shot the gap, and Barkley's just playing out of his mind right now when he gets that X factor going. Now there are some really good dink and dunk plays in here. The double outs is probably my favorite. We'll go random nickel. I'm not really sure if I got that, but these speed out routes here are going to get open underneath just about any defense other than maybe cover 2 hard flats. And that's about it. I mean, you might have like man press cover 2. We'll give it a little bit more trouble, but you'll still get that outside release. You'll have this here, looks like it might be a cover 2. And you can see how I can still come back to that ball. That's what I mean, like cover 2 hard flats. That wasn't hard flats. That was straight cover 2. This looks like it might be cover 2 also. But you can see they drop back enough that I can still get that play out. So you have that quick throw to the sideline. This is something where you want to keep this in your autos. Anytime you see somebody playing off, they might be in like a cover 2 zone here. You can see the ball can't get knocked out, but it's not getting picked off. You know what I mean? I'm not throwing it into danger by any means, and I have the ability to get an easy 8 to 10 yards if I can turn that corner, especially if I'm doing it from like a hash mark, which is going to be more helpful. So we saw right here, I said that guy, he can cover out, and I could have held that a little bit longer too, but if I'm running it from a hash mark to the wide side, it's going to be much easier. Now, another option to give myself a little bit more flexibility on a play like this is if I'm running this to the wide side. Say I could put my B receiver on a drag here. So let's say that for whatever reason this route doesn't get open. As you can see, that was actually pretty good coverage. I also have my drag and check down. This was something I'd only do if I'm on a hash mark. As you can see now, I have my drag and check down. I also have the A receiver, although there I don't really like holding the ball very long under center. That's not necessarily a good idea. Putting the Y receiver on the Y running back on a curl route's also a good idea, as I'm clearly holding here just to show some of these other options over the middle that you have, as this can create like a high-low between those two receivers. Obviously, the drag is going to be the bigger play, but you can see both times the time to get open, I'm just getting smacked because you don't want to pass too much under center. That's not necessarily a winning formula, but this is a really good quick pass that you can do that will alleviate a lot of those issues. You also got another quick pass in the mesh, which I'll go ahead and continue to pick random here, but it's never a good idea to pass deep under center. Short passing is probably going to be the better way to go, but you can, I mean, there is times where you can get away with it, but it's not like the best concept here. But here we just have regular double drags. You can see here that we could do that. Those things will beat man in zone. That's pretty common. But you also have the ability to put the B receiver on a streak here, and now we have a high-low between the tight end and the fullback where that's going to pull back. I actually kind of think that putting the B receiver, I'm kind of doing this a little bit more where I'm putting him on a slot fade, as it's going to create kind of the same idea, but this will really help to pull these these deep cornerbacks out more than if you just put a regular streak. So a regular streak is not, to me, as good as a slot fade, as this will just, like I said, this can really help, as that might have been a cover 2 and I tried to go over the top there. Luckily I threw it out of bounds, but there are options here. So you could go streak or you can go fade, and then like I said, you're just watching the fullback here. If the fullback's open underneath, take that, and if it's if that's open right away, you get a good catch and run that way. Other than that, the tight end will work too. But if I know it's a man coverage, I would say the double drags is probably better. But if it's a zone coverage, I'd put one of them on a streak or a slot fade to create that high-low. Going to do it one more time. Like, I mean, the double safeties is pretty obvious that it's going to be a man coverage. So we'll just go ahead and we'll hit that. As like I said, they can get open against zone too, but they're going to be much more effective against man coverage, against quick man blitzes and stuff like that. As you can see, you get a very easy play. Next up, we have the angle out, which is also has that speed out route which can get open against pretty much any man or zone except cover 2 hard flat. But the other side, we're going to put the B receiver on a drag and put the RB fullback on a curl. And now we have, a second read where we can make to either one of these. And I meant to actually throw to the B receiver there. But you can see how they're really running into one another a lot coming out of these, coming out of the break here. As we get a man coverage there, you can see the drag is going to be very good against that. And the post route can also get open against man, but it should also get open against zone. So if I'm trying to force to one of these other routes here, as you can see that, the post here gets open across in the middle. I didn't even do the check down fullback there because you can see how, if he doesn't pull it right there, if the zones follow, if you have matching zones, a lot of times they'll follow, or if you have a user there in the middle, a lot of times they'll follow, and it'll leave this guy wide open over the middle of the field. But obviously I tried to force it there and I threw an interception, so that's not necessarily going to work. But the first read's always X, and then you can always come back to the ball too, which, obviously you can get knocked out, but you always have the ability to undercut or to come back. The only time that doesn't really get open is if it's a hard flat. He won't be underneath. The hard flat will drop down and be underneath. But other than that, you have a lot of other options here. As you can see, like that probably could have been a huge catch and run if I had a little more accuracy. But a good play, a good replacement for the double speed out route play, which I showed in the double outs. If your particular playbook doesn't have that. Next up, we got the PA sprint halfback flat. This play here doesn't need any adjustments. It's really just the read to the running back first, and then the X receiver second here, which you can see against, that's more of a man beating route, but it can also beat zone, while the running back can really only beat. That really doesn't beat man coverage. You can see here we get man coverage on these two plays. The X or the B receiver can, but it's not necessarily the best. The running back's the first read. There we get a zone coverage, so we can go to that. Very easy play against zone. And then we're going to the X receiver. It's really that simple. The check and release is a part of the read structure, as it's not going to work against man, as I actually tried to hold it there, thinking that maybe I could force that, but obviously it's not going to be the best. The B receiver here also, you're throwing on the run a lot. That's probably the one thing I don't like about this play, is the fact that you don't want to throwing on the run is really going to make it a little bit more difficult of a play to make for most people. So it's kind of a single use play if you want to throw to the running back or throw to the second read. Other than that, it's really not that great of a play. Next up, we're going to get into some one-play touchdowns, starting with the wide trail. This particular play here has some man capabilities because you do have the slant here. The Texas route are going to be good routes for man coverage. You can put the fullback on an out route, and he'll be a decent option too. You can see, like, these are good man beating routes. So you always have those. As I'll go ahead and I'll throw the fullback real quick on the out route. Although you can see, like, you got to get these balls out quicker. There's a lot of clutter. So once again, passing under center not always the best thing. This is probably better for short, quick passes and run plays. We do have a one-play touchdown from this as well. So we're going to pick that. We're going to go to cover 2. This is going to be the best play for cover 2 in the formation. And I'm not sure if you can motion this guy across, and he'll get caught. He'll get set up there. Yeah, you can do that. I think the tight end's probably a little bit better, but you can see how this X receiver here just angles in a way that's away from the safety for a very easy one-play touchdown. I'm not even on a hash mark, so very easy play there. The better of the two is probably the motion guard across, which you can do in some of the run plays to kind of try to not make it look like you're trying to set up an obvious one-play touchdown. But this route's perfect against cover 2 because it just gets outside of the safety very easily. So definitely the best cover 2 one-play touchdown in the formation. Next up, we have the PA scissors. I'm gonna go random again, as this does have one-play touchdown capabilities, but I find that putting this guy on a slot fade here and then just reading the fullback to the tight end is the way to go. You can put him on a streak too. That's kind of the older way, putting him on a streak, as that will still work. But like I said, this way here to me is a little bit better. As you can see here, this tight end's actually a pretty good man beater. As you can see, it's that looked like it was a safety maybe covering him. I'm not really sure, but it still had a lot of success. Those are your first 2 reads though, and you also have this read here. This in route is your third read, as the slot fade is not really part of the read structure, but that in route there is going to be a good man beater. So this looks like a man zero blitz once again. Can definitely throw to this breaking in route here. It's like a dig in route, which is a good man beater, but it's also something that can get open against zones very easily. Now we'll pick that again. And we'll go cover 3, since we already have a cover 2 one-play touchdown. All I got to do is streak A and then put X on a corner route and custom stem it down. That's all I really got to do. And the B receiver here is just a good angle. You know what I mean? It's just a good angle to space when it comes to this post route. Not everyone has that, but that's a nice play. And it'll be the same way most likely against cover 3 match, as they're pretty similar. So let's go and do it again. Safety's a little bit more on my side this time. But you can see how, you know, even with the matching coverage, you know, once we get a jumping catch, which kind of slowed it down and messed it up. But you can see it, nobody followed. Nobody made the play that much more difficult. Also has success against cover 4 regular. But this is because this doesn't have much of a pass rush. So A on streak, X on a custom stem down corner route. And like I said, I don't really, you know, that has a decent angle. I feel like you might be better off on this play to custom stem it up a little bit. Maybe just one time, like a 5-yard interval. And like I said, I don't really, you know, these are not the best formations to be throwing bombs. So it's like I don't want to necessarily have a one-play touchdown against every single defense, but ones that have lesser pass rush. Next up, we got the PA deep. This here is going to be a really good man coverage play, although it can also beat things like cover 3. So go and pick cover 3 regular. So all I got to do is put A on a streak once again and put X on a corner route, as I'm messing that up here, but put X on a corner route and then custom stem it down, and that tight end will pull back, allowing this B receiver here to cross, which is probably a better angle than the previous cover 3 one-play touchdown that I showed. This here would probably be my preferred one because it's like it doesn't stop. It's like a quick. It's like a It just runs at such a good angle for this play. So very good angle for a cover 3 one-play touchdown. Can also obviously do the same thing against cover 3 match, but we'll go ahead and we'll show that. So custom stem down. As you know, like I said, that's why you don't necessarily want to throw under center. This play, though, we do have a good amount of checkdowns. As you can see, that guy does follow, but he doesn't follow far enough. The route still gets over the top of him there. Next up, we'll do cover 4 regular, because this will be a good play. Same setup applies, although you can block some of the running backs if you want a little bit more help in pass pro. And you can see how it still crosses to that same area for another easy one-play touchdown. We have a really unique play here, too, at the dig slot out. I really like this play. It's got a cover 2 one-play touchdown in it that we'll do first. We'll pick just random cover 2 here. So all you really got to do is put the A receiver on a streak and then custom stem B down. I'll put the RB receiver on an out route too, though. And you'll notice how the safety, number one, the mid-read doesn't really follow this all the way back. And I'm running it from a hash mark. If I run it from like the center of the field, he's going to cover that even less. I don't know if it's because I was on a hash mark that safety kind of did more. Or not the safety, the mid-read, you can see right here, he doesn't really pick that up, as that time I wasn't really paying attention to the rush. But let's do that one more time. So custom stemming B down is important, and you can see that you know, that linebacker there and the safety, because of the 10-yard in route, just don't really react, which, you know, is kind of important when it comes to stopping this play. As you got two guys going towards safety, the safety has to kind of cover. But it also has a lot of dink and dunk aspects to it that I like. So we'll just go random nickel here. As I could put the B receiver, and I'll do this from a hash mark if I'm going to do this. That's going to be better. But you could put the B receiver here on a flat. And I also like to motion this guy across. The way this play is best run is, you know, if it's a man coverage, the A route's going to get open. If it's a zone coverage, the B route's going to get open. It's really that simple. So we're going to just watch the guy on B. And if the cornerback in front of him drops back into space, I'm going to throw it right away. It's really that simple. If he drops down, I know it's a man coverage. Like right here, it looks like it's probably a man coverage. So on this play, if he drops down, I'm holding it until this sail route gets open, which is right there. That was actually pretty good coverage. But usually that route will get open. And if I don't think that route's there, I also have the X route. As you can see here, this looks like another man coverage. So watching B, he drops down. A gets open that time. Like I said, it's a little bit, you know, just a little bit better if I wait and hold the ball a little bit more. But if it's like a man zero blitz, that might not always be an option. But you can see how you have a check and release. So if it is a man zero blitz, you at least have a running back to pick up. Once again, watching B, they say he drops back, throw it underneath right away. Like I said, it's best to, you got to get it out quick because then he gets a catch and run, which I really didn't get there as much unless he didn't break that tackle. I also like the custom stem A up a little bit because I want to create a little bit more space between B and A. As you can see, once again, does not drop down. The thing too is, I'm hoping I'll get that look too, is that if it is a zone coverage, the A route can still get open. So we'll do that one more time. Hopefully I'll get one of those looks. Like I said, you can kind of throw it in a window there, but obviously you can see forcing it is not really the way to go. It's really best, like I said, that's also why I like custom stemming this guy up, is because I want to create a little bit more separation. But it's really just best to just take the read as it shows you there, as he does go out, but I still get that look, and then you can see that we're going to get a big catch and run. Like I said, it's really all about the cornerback in front of him. He's the only one that can really stop this flat route. The flat defender does not really have the ability to stop this. Now this looks like an obvious man zero blitz. So once again, and we have the X route too. Like we don't have to force the A route at all. You know, like we can come the other way to AJ Brown, who's also going to beat man coverage. Next up, out of the gun bunch quads close, we have the QB draw. As this here, if you're spreading the defense a lot, which this formation is designed to do with 4 wide receivers to one side, a lot of times there will be nobody in the middle, and you can really get away with running with the quarterback here, as you can see. So it's really just, you know, anytime you run this formation, since you have 5 blockers, if there's less than 5 in the box, you can usually get away with a run play. But quarterbacks tend to fumble, or can tend to fumble, so it's something that, you know, you definitely want to slide if you're going to run this play. We got some really good dink and dunk plays. We'll start off with the slant spacing, and we'll continue to go random here. As these curls, I mean, the flat route here is only going to be zone, so that would be my first read, and then I work my way through the curls, which are going to be, you know, this is really just a short play. The best way to look at this is the right side zone, the left side's man. So you got your slant, which can be a good man beater. As you can see here, I got to hold it a little bit, but you can see how eventually that slant's going to get open, and then all these curls can also beat man coverage. Like if I have a man coverage, I could always try to sneak it in here, but you can see that was a zone coverage, which is why I got blasted. But yeah, like right here, we got this curl route. Like I said, that's a good man zone beaters. All these little dink and dunk curl routes really can beat man coverage or zone coverage. But like I said, if it's zone, I'm going to read the flat to this curl. That's going to be the best way to go, as the other curl really just pulls. So like I said, once again, we have the flat route, which I could have threw to, or the curl route here, which I could throw to. This little hitch route. That's going to be your 1-2 on your zone side, and then your man beating side is going to be the slant, really, and the in route too. The 10-yard in route is also a good man beater. So I would say the outside routes are the man beating routes, and then all the inside routes are zone beating routes. As you can see, this guy here is getting open every single time. Very easy read against zone. Next up, we got the tight end angle. This is a bit more of a man coverage play, so I'll pick random man. As it's really, I mean, out routes work against man coverage, but we have this Texas route here, which is going to be, you know, one of the better routes. The drag obviously beats man coverage, and these out routes are really all good man coverage beaters. Although against some zone coverages, we got some pretty tight coverage there. That look like a double man, as they typically, you know, as the computer runs more than actual people. But yeah, I mean, there's just, you know, just a couple of good man beating routes with the streak just pulling back. If you wanted to have a zone read, you could put the RB receiver on a streak, and I'll back out and do that because that out route isn't great anyway. So let's go ahead and let's back out and let's pick this play again, and we'll just go random. And I'm going to put RB on a corner route and custom stem B all the way down, because that angle is useful as we get a zone coverage here. And you can see how that works. Since that route bends to the outside, a lot of times it will make it very easy. It'll just make it easier for the corner route, because a lot of times cover three cornerbacks don't necessarily you know, get to that spaces there. We got his, we threw, but you can see how he's going to get open. So against zone coverage, these type of routes are really good because they hold that cornerback, and there's just nothing really you know, covering this guy here. So very good man and zone play, as long as you just put the RB receiver on a corner route, and then that outside read would be your zone beater, while your drag and your Texas route are man beaters. Next up, we have the Z spot, continue to go random, as this is a little bit more of a traditional, you know, high-low play, but you want to extend this up a little bit. So we have the corner route and the flat route, which will beat man or beat zone, and you just have to basically take whatever one you see first. However, whichever way the You know, and I think it'd be better to just to put the tight end on a corner route, as I accidentally, you know, maybe custom stem him down a little bit. I want him to go up the field a little bit more than he is, although that route really can be a better man beating route. And if I get a man coverage, I'll show that. But your man beating route really is this guy here, and that could beat zone too. You know what I mean? Like that route really is going to stop and curl right in front. I don't know if we'll actually get a lot of man coverages here, but you can see how, you know, you could try to hit that in stride and he can get a good catch and run. That's a really good quick pass. So there's a couple different options here, but if it's also a man coverage, we're getting a lot of zones, and he's just getting open there right in the middle. But if it's also a man coverage, the A receiver or the A tight end, I'm hoping to get some man coverages here, as I don't have it now based on the fact that we might have to back out and pick that, because we're seeing this through zone. I want to see some man coverages here. Just pick a random man coverage, whatever the first one we see in the formation, whether it's cover one. Well, I guess man zero blitz would work, but obviously with the lack of blocking, this is not the best way to go. But you'll see how this tight end here can be a good angle. It might be something where you might want to custom stem him down against like a zero, because you can see that it'll get open quicker based off the fact that we don't necessarily have a ton of time. And like I said, this guy here can beat man coverage too. So you do have those options, but it's really based off of, like, the tight end's really, you know, if it's a regular, you know, here we got that man coverage, so I'm shortening it. But if it's like a zone coverage, I just want to extend it either by changing it or by custom stemming it up. So based off your man or zone read, you would change that. But other than that, it's the same play. Next up, the drag under is a good play against, you know, most any man or zone. The real route here is going to be the crossing routes. I can put the Y receiver on a streak, by the way. I like the motion in the X receiver, but these routes are really just designed to pull for these crossing routes, which can both beat man or zone. So it's really a single read there. Next up, we have our one play touchdown play, which is going to be the inside post. Start off with cover two. We're going to go with the dime rush cover two. Just give ourselves plenty of corners. Just put B on a fade and put Y on a streak. And Y is going to get down before B does, which means the B is just like wide open here. And at that point, it's really just running around the safety. So very easy play. Next up, we have the cover three. We'll pick cover three sky first. And we're just going to put Y and B on those streaks once again, but we're going to put X on a comeback route. So you're really got to do. The RB receiver here, you got to throw it before he stops, because he will stop running that route. And I also had to throw it early there because there was a guy in my face, but as I didn't even do this right, so this will be interesting. I didn't even put this dude in a comeback route, so yeah, that was doomed to fail from the start. But X on a comeback route, Y and B on streaks, or whatever variation they have available. And we're just getting hit because, like I said, this is not necessarily the best formation to throw deep based on the fact that you just don't have, I did that wrong again, you just don't have a lot of extra blocking. And so it's something where you're always going to be at a deficiency when it comes to blocking. So one more time. So we only have enough for so many guys. And then, like I said here, you can see how we can get between those guys very easily because of that route setup. But, you know, it worked the same against cover 3 match. But ultimately, like I said, blocking is probably your biggest issue. We'll pick cover 3 match here. You'll find a regular cover 3 match. There we go. Same idea. Might be a little bit easier because I keep putting this guy on the wrong route. Might be a little bit easier depending on whether or not somebody follows, which you can see they did, but it's still, this is like a man-beating route. It actually made it easier going towards the corner. So definitely cover 3, regular match, good play. Now, this first play I'm going to go over is the motion halfback swing. This is basically a zone play, so we're just going to go random. But this type of play here, you just want to swing it out right away. No real reads. Just swing it out to the back. Get as much as you can with the blocking. I'm not going to read if it's man or zone. Like I said, to me, this is a little bit better when it's a zone coverage. You can tell by the fact that somebody followed there. But you could also out-sprint that guy, as you can see right there. Even though it was a zone coverage, you could still sprint to the edge. The only thing I would say is run it from a hash mark to the wide side of the field so you have a little bit more room. And like I said, this is a, plant your feet, throw it out. You know what I mean? Just get it out there right away. There's nothing else really to throw the ball to here anyway. And this can be a very consistent play for just about any offense. Next up, we got the motion fullback cross screen. Keep going random. This play here, you got that same motion back, But if I'm calling this play, you're going to see I don't have the blocking. So this is really a fake to try to get somebody to chase this if you're running the first play too much. And then when they chase it, you could come back over here to the screenplay. Although you can see how, a lot of screenplays have issues when it comes to the back getting out. And this play is really no different. As you can see, I'm going to float this up 9 times out of 10 just to get it up in the air to give my blocking time to set up and get my running back time to set up. So I really just tap the RB button. But this is pretty much all you really need. Is like I said, I can still throw it out here and still get a one-on-one and still make people miss and still have success. But if I call this play, it's because my opponent is chasing that motion, and then I want to beat him across the other way with a screen pass. As you can see here, this is going to be just a really good counter to the first play where you can get a lot of yards that way. Now, there's a couple of good run plays here. My favorite's probably the fullback inside, but this is something where I'm just going to go random nickel here. This is something where I find that this just does a really good job of either sealing that to the point where I could jump it outside like I did there, because we had a guy shooting the gap, but the other running back acted like a fullback and stuffed it. This play here, though, I'm probably going to have to take inside. As you can see, we had that guy blitzing to the outside. So not necessarily the best look. I probably would have changed plays in an actual game. But you can see how that blocker gives me either to the outside, or if I can get behind him, a lot of times this is where the biggest hole is going to be. Although I haven't really had a lot of success going up into that hole yet. As you can see, I have to cut back there. I mean, it's just a good inside run. Like I said, the fact that you have a blocker like you do, I mean, that was a double safety blitz. You obviously don't want to run to that. But the fact that I have a blocker like I do can really help to spring me. As I'm getting probably 5 on average every single time, which is plenty for a play like this. As you can see here, once again, they just spring me to the outside. There's just nothing out here. And you can see that we're actually going to crib this one. So definitely one of the best runs in the formation. Next up, we have another really good run in the halfback power O, which this play here is more a big play to the other side. As you really have two big possible run plays. Both of them are kind of to the outside, where this one can be to the inside. But this is something where if I'm going to do this, you can see how that there didn't actually work out because Karlaftis just kind of jumped past the blocker. This is something, if I'm going to run this, you can see how he's just getting off of Shipley really quick. If I'm going to run this play, it'd be best to have like a fullback that can actually act as a little bit of a better lead blocker. So I'll actually go ahead and I'll put somebody in there that can run this in Van Summeren, who is my fullback, even though I don't think he's really got very good blocking. He could work perfectly for an offense like this based on the fact that I don't really have... he is fast enough to run the ball if I want to switch to the inside zone. And hopefully he'll do a little bit better blocking. As you can see right there, he did a decent job because he's just probably stronger than Will Shipley. So this here would be a really good offense. As you can see, he just blocks him inside there, and we almost took that to the house as well. But like I said, if I see a hole on the other side, I do have a guy who's quick enough that I could run that and go the other way. So very good, play to work with your fullback inside run. But you could also have all this in one play if you just go to the triple option. So I'm going to continue with that. This play here can really do both, as I could keep it with the quarterback, although I tried to flip it out there last second, even though there was somebody on it anyway. As you really can, I find the big play here is to keep it outside. As you can see here, there's nobody out here watching the quarterback this time. Get a very big play. Go ahead, we're going to do this where I'll just let the running back hand off just to show that I can go that way, although I typically don't like to go that way. Unless I see a hole immediately, I typically want to hold A, keep it with the quarterback, or send it to the pitchback, which is something that, is a bit safer. As you can see, I'm just watching the edge. If he's crashing in like he is there, I'm going to keep it. But I do want to show that, the run to the other side is decent. It's just more of a, to me, that's probably the much smaller play because you're running into, there's definitely people here. But you have the ability to swing it wide both ways with this triple option. So to me, this is definitely, one of the best run plays in the formation based on the fact that I can really have the best of both worlds. A good inside run that's also capable of the outside, or a good outside run in either direction. As you can see right here, we get a man coverage, and that runoff there was just key. But very good play. That's it for the run plays and the screen plays. Although we also do have a slip screen. So this is a really good play also, where I'm going to, the fullback here is a good option against zone, even though obviously there he played down. But I just wanted to show that you don't have to throw it to the screen every single time. The screen is going to be the bigger play of the two. That the flat to the other back is a very good play. So just keep that in mind as there that hard flat just dropped down on it, and I was stuck because I was just staring at that hard flat trying to go that way. But you can see how he can get separation, so you at least have a good secondary option just in case the screen gets blown up for whatever reason. If you got a man coverage too, I mean, you could technically throw to this, but that wasn't even a man coverage. Just wanted to force it. But you do have as I messed the whole thing up here. You do have this route, this in route, that can get open against man. So there is another option. So you do have the zone beating flat, the man beating in route, and the screen obviously is the one you want to go to the most. Next up, we're going to do some dink and dunk pass plays, starting off with the wide receiver corners, as this is going to be a play that's really going to be best against things like cover 3 and cover 4. So we're going to pick that defense. As all you have to do is custom stem these corner routes here, and they're going to work to the outside below the cover 3 and cover 4 defenses. As you can see, we'll go ahead and we'll do the other side here just to show how these cornerbacks don't really flatten out, even though I didn't get a good throw there. So we'll go and do that again. We have a good man beater in the A route. So if we get man, we have that. But you can see how these corner routes do a really good job of staying. If you custom stem them down now. If I don't custom stem them, they will not necessarily work the same way, although you see it can get outside. But once again, it's all about the angle. As you can see that to me it works best if you custom stem it down. But I'll just show that against that, and I'll also show that against cover 4, because cover 2 is one of the few defenses that's going to stop it. We'll pick cover 4 drop here, as this will be the same way. Like I said, if you don't custom stem it, you can see how it still kind of gets to that spot. But I find that it's going to work best and it's going to get open the quickest if you custom stem it down all the way. As you can see now, we just have a little bit more separation, as you know, the flat doesn't really get out there. This is a scenario where we have, I mean, I just picked a random cover 4. You can see we got edges that aren't really getting out on the play as quickly as like a cornerback would or something like that. So we're actually going to back out and pick something. Hopefully they'll have a cover 4 with a little bit of a faster defense here. So this looks like a nickel 2-4. So this is probably a bit of a better test, as we'll just go ahead and continue to drop these guys down. As you can see, it's once again, it's Carl Aftis on that side. But on the other side, we have a bit of a better corner. So, you know, it really depends on the coverage of who's out there. As you can see now, we have McDuffie in the slot. So that's going to be a little bit more challenging. But you see how this works against like larger base defenses. Just make sure that you're not throwing in the direction of a corner. Should also work against things like this. Cover 4 quarters. Once again, same thing. It gets open to the outside. I'll try to continue to pick faster defenses, though. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can find... We got a nickel 2-4 here. So a little bit different as far as the corners going outside. But you can see how it plays underneath. He caught that. I don't know why I didn't catch that all originally. That was kind of weird. I'll do that again. But just to show how, you know, these guys, and I didn't mean to motion that, so we'll just work the other corner. As where it might have messed the whole play up, but you can see how the flat is not there. That was a that was a linebacker, I think. In I don't want to say Tranquil. I think it was somebody else, but you can see how there. I mean, once again, star cornerback, a little bit different with McDuffie in the slot, but I still think I can beat this. As you can see right here, if we arc that down towards the bottom of the reticle, you can still beat that corner. So it really just depends on who's covering the flats, but you can see how it's pretty consistent regardless of who you're going against. We could also do man coverages. I think the only thing that will give it issues is probably like a regular cover 2, and I'll try to find once again a nickel 2-4 cover 2. So this right here, this is going to play into the, you know, especially if I don't custom stem it down, you can see how the cover 2 corners really jump that. But if I custom stem it down, he still gets open underneath it. You know what I mean? So like even cover 2's, obviously he's in the area where he can knock the ball out. But you can see how I could custom stem these corners down to a point where they could still beat even the cover 2 flats, unless it's like a cover 2 hard flat. But pretty much any zone coverage, you can see how this is having success. So we'll go on, we'll pick that one more time. Like I said, cover 2 hard flat is probably the one that's guaranteed to take this away, especially if I custom stem it. But if I don't custom stem it, you can see how he can get open up the field. So if you see the cornerbacks drop, and like I'll go ahead and I'll custom stem one down. If you see the cornerbacks drop, obviously you don't want to throw that because you're gonna throw. You know, you have to be underneath the corner. But that's why it would probably make sense to have one low, one high. so that if you see the cornerback drop, you can just go to the other side and you're going to get open under the safety. So you really have a route here based off of how you custom stem it that could really be any zone coverage. But it also has a lot of success against man, so let's go ahead and let's pick man coverage. As we've already gone over every zone, but let's go ahead and let's pick a man zero blitz of some kind. Once again, trying to get as many cornerbacks on the field as possible. We'll just pick the dime 2-3 here, and you can see how number one, we have the cornerbacks are aligned, and you can see how when I custom stem that down, that can beat man zero pretty easily. Once again, depending on the cornerback. The X route is probably not as good, but you can see how he just completely roasted that corner. Excuse me, as we get an easy one-play touchdown off of that. So, like I said, it really depends on the corner. Here we have a scenario where the star cornerback is inside, and when I don't custom stem it, it's not as effective. Like I said, to me, custom stemming it down to about 6 yards, right where the cornerback is, makes the most sense. As you can see, he bites inside there to try to catch up, and then we're going outside for a big play. So that would be the best way against man coverages. I don't think it's necessarily going to work the same way against man cover one because man cover one plays outside leverage, but we're going to give it a try to see what type of success we could have here. Once again, trying to pick a one with a lot of defensive backs. And it's going to be the same thing where I always want to try to custom stem it down to about 6 yards. And you can see how, we could always work the ball to the bottom of the reticle to try to make a play. But like I said, this is a defense that plays outside. Although you can see A.J. Brown, because he has such a dramatic arc, he does still have the ability to beat his man. It also could be because of his rating. But you can see he's getting outside of that for a potential catch or one-play touchdown once again if you can get around that safety. So very hard play to stop with just about any defense. I would say maybe cover two man would do a better job with this, but let's go and let's find out as we can switch over to cover two man. Same idea once again, just custom stem it down. And you can see how he tries to come in and press, and what he does, he's already around him. So these outside corner routes, even after the patch, still have a lot of success. As you can see, A.J. Brown's not having the same success. Could be because he's not as highly rated as A.J. Brown is. Like I said, we'll go 6 yards here. And you can see he's not having as much success. So cover two man would probably be the best way to stop this. But it could also be the route. As you can see that they are running different routes. So once again, putting A.J. Brown on that route, it's definitely one of the best ways to stop this. But even then, we still have the A receiver who does a really good job. That's a really good man-beating route, which I already mentioned. So that'll beat man coverage regardless. And then the outside routes beat just about anything else. So that's a really good play. Next up, the swirl curls is really more of a cover zero type play. So let's go and let's pick man zero blitz. We're just going to pick the heaviest blitz we can find. And the reason this works is because we have two check and release running backs, and then all these routes here can really beat man coverage. As we have all, basically these curl routes that will all get open underneath the man coverage, which typically plays over the top, based on the fact that it doesn't want to give up anything deep in single coverage. And you can see how these man, they all beat man. So we have plenty of blocking with the check and release routes to the running backs, and we have these other routes over the top. As far as this play goes, it would also work against cover one, but not cover two because cover two plays underneath. But against cover one, we can still have success. Let's go and let's pick a cover one play. You just have to watch the robber over the middle, which can jump the curl route over the middle. That's the only thing. So that route is not going to be as effective, but these other routes are going to work the same way because cover one still plays over the top, while it also plays to the outside, but it's not going to play unless your opponent plays underneath. These routes are going to get open. And then the check and release routes also can beat zone coverage. So if for whatever reason you misdiagnose this play and it's not a man coverage, we'll just go over to the random, whatever this is. If it's not a man coverage, like I say, we're going to see, these routes didn't, they didn't get open because there's something underneath it. So then you just take the check and release routes to the running back. So that's going to be your zone beater while all the receivers are running man beating routes. Double swirl is probably a better version of this in my opinion. So we'll go back to the man zero blitz play here as we have that check and release set up once again. But I just find that this route here is just a little bit better because it runs away from the corner. So it takes it to the point where the timing doesn't have to be as good. As he's going to sit, and pretty much anytime I throw it there. You still want to time it a little bit better than I did there, especially if you're throwing McDuffie's side. So we'll wait to time it until he comes back. As you can see, he just sits underneath it. Like you can throw it like a post if you have the matchup. As you can see right here, he's still going to come back and make that play as long as the defender is behind me or over the top of my receiver. But against a better corner, you just want to basically wait till it comes back and sits, and then you can just time it, and it's a really good play. And then obviously you have the A receiver here who's going to run a post and there's nobody over the top, which can basically be a one-play touchdown, which makes this, like I said, a better play. But it depends. It's a choice route, so it really depends on what he sees. But you can see how it's a really effective post route when facing a man zero blitz like this. So a really good play, one-play touchdown against man zero. We might as well continue with the mesh, which is going to be a good play once again. We'll just keep picking random nickel. As it's really, you have your double drags, which is typical of, pretty much any offense. You're going to want your double drags because these things can beat just about anything. As they're going to stop. I mean, if it's a zone, they'll stop it. If it's a man, they'll just keep running, and they're going to beat just about anything. But you can redrag them if you want to. You also have the option to put A on a streak, and then I put RB on an out route, and now you have a high-low against zone coverages. Where typically I would say, as I tried to hit the streak there, because I don't know what defense I was looking at, but typically I would say that on a look like this, you're playing the RB route to the B route. And right there, we got a batted ball as my running back had a hard time getting out. I mean, if he's having a hard time getting off the line, I could switch this over to a flat, which might work a little bit better on the release angle. As you can see now, as we don't really have a fast back out here, that might have been a man coverage. I may have made a poor read there. But like I said, the flat here is an option where I could just throw it out on the flat and get a nice catch and run. As you can see, I don't have quite the most athletic option here in A.J. Dillon. He's more of a power back. But you do have the ability to just create your regular high-low. As I went the wrong way there, hopefully we'll get an opportunity for this receiver here. As you can see, that was looked like a cover 4 with the cornerback over the top, but he can still get open outside. So you can keep it as is, which is really good. Obviously with the double drags, or you can create the high-low concept as that corner route. Got another good dink and dunk play in the PAF slides going. Let's pick that. Keep going random. This play here, the running backs, as we got a really crazy blitz there, the running backs are both good zone beaters, while this short crosser is the good man beater, although you also have the X receiver here, which can beat man. That's a good, and also can beat, like, looked like it was like cover 4 quarters, cover 4 match or something like that. So it can also be that, but you're really just watching the running backs. As the biggest issue, sometimes they don't get out clean. Like right there, he didn't get out clean. I'm canceling the play fake too, just to get the ball to a throw angle as quickly as possible. And, you can see how that does help. But I'm really just reading RB if I run this play, which I get right there. As you can see, they kind of still were shooting down the play fake. As he's the first read against zone, and then the second read is the crosser. And then, like I said, I also have this out route here, which is a good man beater or a good matching zone beater, depending on what you're looking at. Next up, I got the halfback rail. This is a really good man beating play. So we're going to go play type man coverage. As you have pretty much everything you need here for a cover 1 play, if I get that, which I did get. And you can see how, actually, look, that might have been a cover 0. I'm not really sure. But like I said, cover 0 or cover 1, that running back's really good. But all these routes are man beaters. That's pretty much the play. Here we got a cover 1. And I'm just going to basically lob it to the outside. As you can see, a very big play. That would be why I would call this play. But like I said, you do have other routes here. Like the the X route here can beat. I mean, cover 1 obviously has that guy over the middle, so you have to watch that, as you're going to have the opportunity to throw to either him or the return route. And I'm trying to throw to the deeper route, but that's really the guy you got to watch. You got to watch that hook zone or that spy, whatever they want to call it. The B receiver here is also solid against man, although you got to throw it with a little bit better timing than I did there. And I would also say, if you're going to throw to that guy, you probably want to throw from a hash mark to the open side of the field, because otherwise I'm trying to squeeze it in before the sideline. So we're going to work this route one more time. As like I said, that's really on me if I'm not throwing this with a little bit better timing, as I don't know why Dillon keeps giving away the fact that he's blocking. So here we go. Finally held it long enough and got it to my receiver. But like I said, you really have to wait till he gets outside of that receiver for it to be effective. Here we go. Try to force that spin dig right there, that return route. As you can see, that can beat man coverage too. But lots of routes here that beat man coverage is basically the point of the play, with the running back being a home run. Next up, we have another common passing concept in the Z spot. We're going to go and pick that. We're going to go random. as you just want to make sure you put this X receiver at really any, as I accidentally flipped the play there, trying to go too quick, but you just want to put the X receiver on any man beating route that you have, as an option. You can put them on a drag, a speed out route might be best. That's going to be your man side, a slant. You put them on a zig, whatever. You put them on a comeback route if you want to motion them out and do it that way. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can put, but you want to put them on some sort of man beating concept because the left side is going to be your man concept, the right side is going to be your zone concept. All you got to do is put B on a streak, and you're going to have the running back here in the flat. If he gets open, just throw it underneath, get a catch and run. And if the flat drops down, then you could basically throw to the A receivers. You can see right here, the flat dropped down a little bit, and I got kind of a bad throw. But that's basically the concept. You got your zone on the right, your man on the left. This also does have some, as we get a man coverage here, some capabilities that are really good when it comes to one-play touchdowns. Next up, we got the halfback wheel, which is probably the best play in the formation. We're going to go random plays here, as there's a lot of different things you can do. You can streak the B receiver here and then work the high-low between the running back and the corner route. Although I don't know why Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball so poorly, but that's a good zone concept. And the other side can be a really good zone concept too. If you want to motion out this Y receiver here, you can see how if he rolls out up the field that he can get some space. But this is more of a zone concept too, as I really would rather, as we're getting an obvious a double safety blitz here, you'll notice that if I see a man coverage, I can really throw it out quick, and we can really get some good catch and runs that way because of the angle of the flat of the wheel route. But you can also just leave him in the backfield, and you'll see how he can get open in the flat the exact same way. But motioning him out to me is really the best way, because if you motion him out against man, you saw how he can get open if you throw it quickly. And against zone coverage especially, you can see how it's the exact same thing, how he gets open underneath that for a very big play. So that to me is one of the better concepts. If you're going to do that, I'd say just put the X receiver in like a slant or something, or even, a post, just something where he can also act as a man beater so that you're not relying on the running back, because there will be times, especially if you throw it late, where this is not necessarily the best play. But ultimately, this is you're going to be your best option. Now, we also have a lot of one-play touchdowns from this play, and I'll first start off with cover 2, as we'll try to pick a Tampa 2 right here. You can put the B receiver on a streak, and he will pull back the safety to the point where the receiver can get open to that area above the cornerback outside the safety, although I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hurts and his accuracy right now, as I'm not really getting a great play. But you can see how you can put that into that area. But it's also not necessarily the best play when it comes to one-play touchdown. Now, if you put the running back on a wheel route, a regular wheel route like we did against man coverages, this can be a good play. As you can see, he can get open above that cornerback to the same area, but it's not necessarily the best way to go. The best way to go, if you want to guarantee a one-play touchdown, is going to be to motion this guy across, put him on a post, repost the X receiver because he's not really on the same trajectory, and then custom stem this post up to about 25 yards, as the X receiver will clear the mid read, allowing the B receiver here to get open in that space. Although you probably want to block some of the running backs too, because the Y receiver is actually pretty decent doing what he's doing, the Y running back, but the other running back, I can block him. So we'll custom send this guy up to 25 yards once again, and you'll notice how we got a lot more blocking now. As you can see that when this guy cuts through the middle, he's going to be going right through the safety. So that was just a really weird catch animation that cost me. So we're going to do it one more time, as that was just total nonsense. He went up for that. I mean, that was like a forced pass breakup animation, as we're getting a lot of heat here. But like I said, it's the same thing. You can still get that right through the middle very easily against cover 2. It's going to be easier against cover 3, though, as we'll back out and we'll pick same play. This time we're just going to continue to go concept to concept. We'll go cover 3 regular first. As this play, all you really want to do is motion out the running back. You can leave it like that. That is technically enough to get what I want done. As I really just want to wait till he crosses the safety and then basically load up here. But there are obviously ways to make this opening a little bit bigger. So number one, if I want to re-wheel route this running back, that's a good option. And custom stemming A down is going to be a good option as well, as that will make sure to hold that cornerback out, while that custom stem down route will hold that cornerback down. Just give me a little bit more space to throw to. You could also just put him on a straight up streak. If you don't even want to show your hand that you're motioning the guy out, you can just put him on a streak from the backfield, and you'll notice how that'll hold the safety even better, as he has no freedom to really follow that route across. So that to me is probably the best way to do it. And it's going to work the same way against cover 3 match, although you will have times where you'll have defenders following. So let's go and let's pick cover 3 match. And it's going to be the same idea. Like I said, custom stem this guy down. Get a little bit of a pass rush coming in here, so it's going to mess that up. But you can see that the cornerback or the receiver was gone if I didn't have, I could block the RB running back too. I don't need to have him running any routes. So we'll do that to give it myself a little bit more pass pro, as I like to run around outside, and we get a really bad throw. But you can see how that cornerback's held down the exact same way. It's the exact same play. And it also has a lot of success against matching cover 4. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pick cover 4 quarters first out of the dime 2-3, and then we'll pick palms out of the same formation. As I went ahead and put in a backup running back because Saquon Barkley is really fast, so I didn't want his speed to dictate whether this play works or not. So I picked Will Shipley here, he's like a 91 speed. All you gotta do is put him on a regular wheel route, and he's going to be the play once he turns upfield here. Typically, whoever's in coverage can't keep up with him, as you can see right there. That was Nick Bolton, a really good linebacker. He can't keep up with him. It's going to be the same way against palms, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm going to pick the same defense, the dime 2-3, so we have as many, the same amount of DBs on the field. So we're going to pick palms, and it's going to be the same way. Just put Y on a wheel route, and he's going to get that one-on-one once again. So I'm just going to basically just lob it up. And like I said, we don't have a 95 speed back like Barkley running it, but you can see how it's going to work the exact same way. Next up, we'll do cover 4 regular, cover 4 drop. As this year, you're going to want to run it from a hash mark to the open side of the field, never the short side of the field. As there's a couple different things you could do. You can motion out the running back, put him on a streak, and then custom stem A all the way down. And then I'll block the RB receiver. And I'll put the B receiver here on a flat, although I didn't put him on a flat. So let's put him on a flat like that. These are all designed just to pull that side of the field down. And I also feel that putting the X receiver on a new post and then custom stemming him up to about 20 yards makes the most sense for him to be able to get over the top of this cornerback here. As you can see that he does get to that space even though he didn't catch the ball. You don't actually have to motion out the running back either. You can leave him in the backfield. Just go ahead and let's just continue to do the exact same thing we were doing here. And I'll try to actually complete the pass this time, even though we did see that it was open. As this time, me not motioning the running back out obviously changed it. So motioning him out does make the most sense. Like I said, custom stem up to 20 yards, drag or flat the B receiver, and then block the running back just to give myself a little bit of pass pro. Even though there's only 3 guys rushing, it still can help. So this time here with this setup, you can see we actually get a good pass and a completion. It is quite a bit of a setup, but like I said, you might need it if you have to score against cover 4. Next up, we're going to do cover 6 and cover 9, which should work the same way as cover 4 match, because this is basically half match cover 6, half match cover. It's half cover 2, half cover 4. So let's go. Let's pick that. As all we really have to do is do that wheel route once again, but we want to do it on the cover 4 side because we're going to take advantage of the same matching principles that we did before. As you can see, that he just basically turns up for a very easy one-play touchdown. Just make sure you're doing it to the side where the cornerback is off further. As you can see on the left side is 8 yards off, or on the right side is 5 yards off, which means the right side's cover 2 and the left side's cover 4. After that, we only have man coverages left, so we're going to go to man 0 blitz. We'll try to pick something like this. And this is another play we have multiple options. If I want to motion this guy across, and obviously, block and releasing these running backs is going to be helpful here, although the wide receiver is obviously helpful as well. But if you just, A is a really good man-beating route by itself. As you can see that we can just get outside here, and motioning him across typically gives him better outside leverage. Next up, we're going to choose cover 1. We'll go cover 1, doesn't really matter. So just a random cover 1 here. So as long as he's not pressing cover 1. So we're going to put the wide receiver here in a wheel once again. And these wheel routes from the backfield are really good against cover 1, against cover 0, as I didn't really show cover 0 with the wheel route, but it should work the same way. And it's typically because these guys have to drop down to pick these up. So we'll go back to man 0 blitz, just pick something randomly here. And it's because these guys sprint down to the point where once they drop back, it's like they lose acceleration. I had to throw the ball a little bit quick, but if you're going against cover 0, you're going to want to block and release the other running backs so that you actually have a little bit of time. But like I said, once again, he's dropping down. Maybe it's not as good against cover 0, but it's definitely good against cover 1. Cover 0 plays over the top, where cover 1 typically plays more outside leverage. So that's typically what the difference is there. But the wheel route is a good option there. We also have cover 2 man, which we'll do next. Cover 2 man is going to be a little bit different, as all you really have to do is put the wide receiver on a streak, or the wide running back on a streak. And if you motion him out, it's going to be a little bit more productive as far as helping this X receiver get open here, which is really what I want to do. Once again, we got pressure. I don't know where we're getting all this crazy pressure from. So we'll block the RB receiver. The B receiver on a streak can also help too, as that can help get the A receiver open. But if you want to split the safeties, you have a good opportunity with this play. You also have that with the running back once again. If you put him on a wheel route, motion him to the line, you'll notice that he typically gets around that. And the safety here, as you can see, it's a tighter window. Once again, not the best option, but it is an option. And you can put B on a streak and try to work the A receiver as well, as he's working a much, none of these are one-play touchdowns, but they all have catch and run, one-play touchdown capability. So we really can do multiple things here. So we can try either one of these. The X receiver has inside leverage at the start of the play, which is why he's getting that separation. Next up, we have the cross drag. Another play. I mean, we just got double drags with deep crossers. The X route here also is a good play. So basically just all these crossing routes beat man and zone, depending on which way the zone shade. I don't want to just work a bunch of crossers, though, as it's just kind of boring to watch drags. But those routes get up against just about anything. You could always motion the running back out and put him on a streak also to pull back, because this will help with zones for some of the crossing routes. As I can see that I got that crossing route open already, and it's going to be easier with that drag pulling back. So you can do that, or you can just put the tight end on a streak and then just work one way, although you really won't have another option the other way. As that was a cover 1 man, and I think I waited a little bit too long. I thought that I could have that guy, but I don't really like running it the tight end way anyway. I like having routes going in both directions. As you can see, we have drags are really good against man, but it's helpful to have one going the opposite way, so that the user defender especially, can't just flow in that direction, as he knows he has to worry about the backside also. So here we go. We got that 0, got that in route. I'm not saying that's my favorite play. I mean, there's a lot of really good routes on here, but I think that the X is probably the most reliable. The deep crossers, I try to get rid of that a little bit late. The deep crosser is not as reliable against man, although it is a really good play. As you can see right there, as I say that, we get a 0, and he's just gone. So really a good man play, but like I said, all these drags and crossers can also beat zone, especially good if you motion out the running back to, again, zone. This will definitely help to pull for these deep crossing routes. Now, you also got these jet fakes, which only really work against a user who's going to chase this out of the play. Might work against man, against the computer, but it's just something that if your opponent starts chasing the motion, you could always hit him with this counter run here, which is just a decent run at best. It's not like a great run, but it can be better if the opponent vacates the middle of the field. That's really the idea. Now, next up, we have our one-play touchdown play, which is going to be... Oh, actually, I forgot the slip screen, so let's go and pick slip screen. Although I didn't mean to pick the play that I picked. You do have a couple different options here. You don't have to just... Next up, I got the slip screen. But I'm continue to pick random here. Well, I don't even know what I picked, but the running back's a really good play, but you also have the B receiver. So if for whatever reason the screen doesn't develop, if the running back gets caught, if the linemen don't pull out, whatever, as you can see on the next play here, the screen's definitely the play. But if it doesn't work out that way, then you also have the B receiver, which is going to be a good out route against man or zone. So it's like you're not stuck, you know, in a one read screenplay, which is a large issue when it comes to screenplays. You also have kind of like a pseudo stretch play in the zone, where I can flip this and try to run it outside. Although there, I mean, nobody even blocked that guy, so that wasn't the best look. But let's do that again. Hopefully, we don't get that exact same look. As I noticed that the blocking on this particular play isn't necessarily the best for these inside runs. Especially when it comes to this. As you can see right there, we actually get, you know, really good couple of sheds there. But a lot of times this guard doesn't pay up to the next level. But you can see how I can run outside. That's basically what I was saying. This is similar. You can use this like a stretch run if you get the edge. You can take it outside, or you can take it up the middle. Very versatile run. As you see, the double team's doing a better job of getting to the next level, you know, now than it did maybe against the dive. So very versatile play. Next up, we have some really good jet touch pass plays, like the jet touch pass itself, which has the most blocking because the running back is going to, you know, kind of act as like a lead blocker, at least try. Like I could try to stretch it out for him. It's going to be best against like man coverage where there's nobody outside here, which I don't necessarily have. And you can see like the cornerback shooting down. So I'll just run this a few times until I get that look. Here we go. Now we got that man zero. There's nobody out here. So this here, you're going to see how this will be the best look for this is I can now stretch it out, let that running back be my lead blocker, and there's just nothing out here. So any man zero blitz, this is going to be the best play to use against that as far as a run play. But here's like a cover two, so that guy's going to just drop down right away and typically take that play away. As you can see, he takes that away. So zone coverages like cover two definitely are going to be best against this. Next up, we have the spot Y option. So let's pick that. We'll continue to go random. This is another play. Just put X on a streak, and I think putting, if you're running this random, I'd say put Y on a actual corner, a deeper corner, and then put A on like a 10-yard out route. And this is another play where you're just going to watch the B or the B receiver underneath. If he's there, you can take it. And if not, the corner route's going to work. Now, this route here might be better against man, the normal corner route without augmenting it. But ultimately, I still find that, you know, if it's man, that's going to be a better play. But if it's zone, putting him on a deeper corner is going to be better. As you can see, the spacing is just not really there. So that's why the deeper corner route is going to be the better play. Now here we got a man coverage, and I got roasted. But this also has some, you know, this is a specific play too when it comes to coverage zero. So let's go and let's pick this play again, and we're going to go with some coverage to coverage concepts, starting off with man zero. So if I want to try to get this guy on the outside, just motion this guy across, and it'll change how we get leverage. So now I have outside leverage. Really easy play to be a one-play touchdown against cover zero. It can be a very big play against cover one as well. So we'll back out. We'll pick cover one. Pick that again. Pick cover one hole. Same idea. Motion this guy across. I can motion snap if you like. Cover one's a little bit better, because I think it shades to the outside based on the fact that the safety is over the middle. And you don't even really have to make that motion. You can just do that and have a big play. That's a potential catch and run because you really only have to beat the safety. Pick cover two man as well, although I don't anticipate it being as successful. Go ahead, we'll do that. But it's going to have success getting to the outside the same way. It's just you can see this tighter coverage and the safety's right over the top. So I don't necessarily, you know, I can put X on a streak to try to pull that safety back, and that will help. Can also get a little bit in the way when it comes to the route. But like I said, still a really good man-beating route. Best man-beating route on probably in the entire package. Spot Y option is also a one-play touchdown against any cover three, where all you got to do is put the X receiver on a streak. And then I would say motion this guy across, or you can motion out the running back the same way I've shown a couple times, and put these guys all on streak, so it looks like this. Everything's on streak but X, or but Y, excuse me. As this guy here was really running into A.J. Brown, slowing him down, but it still worked out. We'll do it one more time. Like I said, just need 3 streaks to dress up around that corner route, and a little less interference from that hook zone. It's crazy how those fucking hook zone, or how those zones can really get in the way. Do it one more time. So I don't even know what it is. It's just a regular hook zone. And he's just like, how is that not a fucking penalty? Like, that's not, he's not giving issue on the route. I mean, like, come on. So I'm going to custom stem down B because that, or not B, Y, because I feel like that might be part of the reason that we're losing acceleration because they are kind of running into one another. And then now we have a little bit better separation as we get up that seam for very easy one-play touchdown. So just, you know, mess around with custom stemming Y down a little bit and it'll work out better. Next up, we have our one-play touchdown play, which is the verticals. So let's pick that. Starting off with cover 2. Against cover 2, no adjustments needed. The X receiver here gets open above the cornerback for potential catch and run outside of the safety. And we'll call it a touchdown. Looks like it was anyway. But no real adjustments needed for that. Next up, we're going to choose cover 3. Cover 3 sky. Next up, I'm going to choose cover 3, starting off with cover 3 sky. Another play where you don't really have to do anything. I mean, I can motion out Goddard and put him on a streak, but I just need to have something for that safety to respect and stay in the middle of the field. This is really just a seam-beating play. The best way to do it, though, is to motion out the running back, which is something that I've already shown. So it shouldn't be too much of a tell when it comes to, you know, this particular play because I use it in another play. And that'll stretch the field enough that we can typically get a very good catch up the seam here. But the X receiver here, if I really want to, as I think I just changed the play, the X receiver here, I can just put him on a corner route and stem him down. And it'll have a similar effect as the wheel, if not a better effect. So we'll do it this way here. Might be a little bit better. As you can see, it creates a little bit more space for the catch and run than the actual wheel route. And we'll call it a one-play touchdown. It was close enough. Well, I'll do the next setup, which will be cover 3 match. Same thing. Like I said, that wheel route's good, but I think just putting him in a corner route's probably better. As you can see here, we're getting the same effect, and we'll call that the touchdown once again. This is very close. Like I said, a little more speed probably gone. Next up, we have cover 4. So we're going to corner out X and B this time and just put Y on a streak. That's all we really got to do. Y is going to get forgotten as the safety across the field has to come over to cover him, and he just is nowhere in the area to be found. It's going to work the same way against cover 4 palms also. So we'll pick palms, as that was quarters. We'll pick palms this time. Same setup. And same result as the safety still has to cross. Making this very easy one-play touchdown against both. Next up, we got cover 4 regular, which will go concept to concept here. Against cover 4, just put A on a corner route and then custom stem him down. And the streak will hold back the safeties, while the B receiver can get over the top of this cornerback very easily if we get a little bit more of a better pass there. You just saw I got over. So like I said, just custom stem this guy all the way down. I wish I could custom stem B up, but you could always just put him on a regular post route also. And it's really just about getting a better throw. As you can see right here, we just throw it over the top. Very easy one-play touchdown. Although, like I said, if you want to, you could always put B on a post, and then it'll have a little bit more of a better pass trajectory than the first play. As you can see, this one actually gets defended, so it's actually better not to. But you can see how this play can be a very easy one-play touchdown against cover 4. And it's going to have the same effect against cover 6, cover 9 also. As long as you're doing it to the cover 4 side. So whatever side has the cornerback deeper off. Although I think I might have this backwards. This is the cover 2 side, but it still works the same way. So it really doesn't matter whether it's on the cover 4 side or the cover 2 side. As the other side was the cover 4 side. But like I said, still the exact same thing. Next up, we're going to do, I think we did a lot of man coverages, but we'll try this against 0. But this plays really good against cover 2, so let's go and pick that. As this Y receiver here doesn't get pressed, and he just runs a really good route. As you can see, he just runs around that cornerback for a very easy one-play touchdown against that. Also has a good counter run, which I didn't mean to pick 0 because 0 is obviously going to be like the best way to stop this. because it'll shoot the gaps a lot. So let's pick random here. But you have the ability to go the other way, and you do have some pulling blocks to help you out. It's not just like, you're not left naked out here. As you can see, you have, some good, the tight end comes across, and I think the guard comes across. So put your best blocking tight end in that spot. But it's a good inside run. It's probably better inside run than the inside zone is. Next up, we have the cross wide trail, which is going to be your specific cover 2 one-play touchdowns. Let's pick that. Tampa 2. Just have to custom stem Y up to about a 20-yard break so you can get past the mid-read. As the mid-read is going to react to these other crossing routes. As he starts to play in front of Y, but he doesn't react to Y. He reacts to the routes across the field. And you don't have to make any other adjustments other than that. It's a very good play to split the safeties very easily. Although you could also, I didn't even mention, you could also throw outside. As we'll pick that again, you can throw outside to the X receiver if you just streak this guy. As he gets open around the corner and can be a very big play as well. He'll get pressed and all that stuff, but he still gets open. And if you have Y on a streak, you could also throw to Y, if I'm being honest, because he gets open inside the safety. Although, it takes both of these passes take a pretty dramatic pass lead to get away from the safety himself. As you can see right there, he does come into play at some point. So it's better to just have the have this guy on a post route, or just custom stemming that post route up, as it gives you the best of both worlds. So we'll go do it one more time. Like I said, I can throw to the post, or I can throw outside to the X receiver as there is space. Although this is obviously a little bit more difficult for the one-play touchdown, but it still works. Next up, we have the double post. This play here is cover 3 we're going to start with. Just got to put B on a corner and then custom stem him down. And after that, I mean, you could block the running back for better pass pro, but it's basically this guy's just going to get open above the cornerback there as we get a bad throw. I thought I was going to have a shot at that, but we'll block the running back. Like I said, put B on a corner, stem him down, and we're going to get the next up we have the double post. Start off with cover 3, Sky. Put B on a corner, custom stem him down, and then you just block everybody else. Just to, if we know we're shooting for the stars here, as I can just roll out, get that Y receiver over the top of the cornerback for a very easy one-play touchdown. It's going to work the same way against cover 3 match. It also has success against cover 3 match, but in a different way, as it's best to put the running back on a wheel route and motion him out. And he'll get a one-on-one with the linebacker typically, which is kind of like, works in a similar fashion to the cover 1 man. And it's going to have the same effect against cover 4 match. So let's go and let's pick cover quarters. Wheel the running back, motion him out, which is something I'm doing a lot in this formation, so it shouldn't, make your opponent wise. But you can see how he's just going to, cook whatever linebackers on him or whatever guys in coverage. Against cover 4 palms, which to me is a little bit more difficult to beat, you can do the exact same setup, but it's going to be helpful to put the X receiver on like a comeback route just to make sure that he doesn't get in the way when we try to throw over the top of this cornerback here as we get another one-play touchdown. So you can do that setup against both, and it's just gonna be an improvement. So it doesn't matter which cover 4 they're in. So pick that again. Pick cover 4 drop. This one here, I'm just going to put A on a streak, B on a corner, custom stem B down, and this will create the space I need for the Y receiver once he crosses. As you can see, he's above that cornerback who's held down by the corner route as the streak pulls back to safety. Next up, we'll pick cover 6. Well, for cover 6, do the wheel route once again. Put X on a comeback. We'll get that same match, and the linebacker just can't keep up. Very easy. Just make sure you're doing it to the cover 4 side, not the cover 2 side. So a lot of good run plays in this formation. Starting off with the inside zone, as this entire formation is really more like a dink and dunk formation, but you have some good, with the 2 tight ends there like you have it, it just helps to create some good blocking concepts. Because I don't anticipate going to the house every single time that I have an inside zone run, but you can see how, it's a 2 tight end set where one kind of acts like a fullback. And it just gives you, you typically have like a blocking advantage as long as you don't get like these instant sheds like we're getting from the nose. But yeah, I mean, we just have, it's a good inside run. Obviously, you want to keep this in your arsenal if your opponent doesn't respect the run. You can always switch over to that. Next up, we have the motion smash. Go ahead and we'll pick random once again. This play here, just put X on a streak, put RB on an out route, and the motion route will really give away what type of play you're looking at here. If it's a man, he's going to get open. So this is going to be one of those plays where you have right side man, left side zone. You're setting up your zone concepts on the other side. So here it looks like we have a zone. And it was a man coverage. So, I mean, this running back luckily beats man coverage too, since I was already looking at the other side. I can still take that because that does beat man or zone. But that's pretty much it. This here you can tell it's going to be a man coverage. So we can just take that little check down there just to go on to the next play. One more time. See that looking like a zone. And we dot it up. We got that corner out. As that corner out's going to get open again, it's just about any man or zone there is accidentally flipped the play, but that's not man or zone. That play is going to get open. That route is going to get open against pretty much any zone. You could extend it too. So right here looking like it's going to be a zone coverage once again. So you could extend that to the point where he gets open underneath just about any man or any zone coverage. So that's your zone beater side. The other side's your man beater side. It's really that simple. You also have an outside run, which once again is probably going to be best against things like man zero blitz, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get to the edge very easily. This is one of the things with the tight ends being tight like they are. I don't know if that's like a field goal block or what, but you can see how they do a pretty good job of springing edge runs. Because that was just a very tightly packed alignment. I don't know if that was like a mistake that they call sometimes, but this is different. This is not like that. You can see how we could go back inside once again. It's a good outside run. So this one's probably the best run in the formation, but once again, it's going to be best against things like man zero blitz, where there's no defender outside because the two receivers are on the other side. So it's another good play to hold in your arsenal for people that like to run a lot of zeros. As you can see, we're just getting outside a lot, but we'll go and we'll pick. I mean, it'll work against like things like cover 3 and cover 4 because the cornerbacks drop back too. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick that, as this is definitely a good run. We'll pick random here. So if these cornerbacks outside drop back like that guy did, I can get to the outside again. You know what I mean? It's really that simple. So cover 3, cover 4. Here the cornerback's like right down on the line, but it doesn't mean I can't get around it. You know what I mean? So definitely want to run this to the open side of the field just in case you got to sprint out. As this looks like a zero or cover 3 or a cover 1. And we actually get caught in the backfield there for the first time. But it's, like I said, it's a good, because of the two tight ends, we get a good blocking structure here. But it can be a little hit or miss. As you can see, we're not always getting positive yards, but there we get about 5. So we definitely have, very good play. Next up, we have the pivot in seams. This is specifically a cover 2 man play. So I'm going to put X on streak just to pull back the safety, and you can see how the wide receiver doesn't get pressed. If you want to pull the safety out, which is going to be helpful, just put the B receiver on a 10-yard out route, or the A receiver as their that's the route that's deeper. So this way you'll have somebody pulling that safety away, creating less opportunity for this guy to tackle you right coming through the middle there. You could also just motion out this receiver, and that'll do an even better job. As we have the check there, or the return route, which is a good check down. But you can see how this is, this is something where if I custom stem this up, it'll be even better. So let's go and do that. That way he won't run across the field so quickly, and that gives you a better opportunity for catch and run. But this is definitely the best play for cover 2 man. So one more time. As you can see, I mean, he's kind of getting open before the 10-yard out route can have its day. So we kind of have to motion him out. So here we go, one more time. And of course, there goes Chris Jones. One more time here. Hopefully Hopefully that'll pull the guy a little bit better. As you can see right there, we definitely have a lot more space. So definitely got to motion them out. Can't do it half-assed. Next up, we have the RPO zone read bubble. Go random. This is a play here where you just want to watch the defender in front of the bubble wrap. If he drops down like he did there, typically you don't want to throw it. As I got away with it that time, but normally he can make a play on the ball. So just watch that defender. There he drops down. I'm not going to take that chance. We'll take the handoff the other way. It's really that simple. As, you know, right there, he drops down. But he's far enough away. Like, that's the thing. If he's far enough away like that, you can always still try to make that play. So just look at where he's at pre-snap also. Like right here, he's aligned right in front of him. But he didn't look like he was on a blitz or something. So we can get that out for a very easy catch and run. As that's really the purpose of this play. If he drops down, normally you have to hand it off, but you know, sometimes they can be a little bit behind. Next up, we got the snag halfback wheel, which is a really good play. We can run it from the backfield or we can motion this guy out. Now, if it's a man, you have the right side, which is really, I mean, every route here is really a man beater, if I'm being honest. But the RB route here can be a huge man beater when he turns up the field, because a lot of times these routes, these snag routes, literally snag the man defender. Now this looks like a zone, so he's going to get open underneath that. As you can see, once again, you know, I can, like I said, I can do this from the backfield. I don't have to motion him out if I don't want to, but it's better if you motion him out. It just gets open quicker against these looks. So this looks like a man coverage. Like I said, these snag routes snag the defender. I mean, this is just an instant look. You know what I mean? Like, this is similar to the drive H wheel play that I put out years back that they actually augmented, that I'll be going over later in this book. But you also got the B speed out route. This looks like a man coverage here. You can always go the other way, and that's McDuffie covering Goddard and not covering him at all. But we have a lot of options here. Even this little curl route here, this little hitch route can get open against zone. All these hitch routes on the other side, or you know, maybe they're comeback routes, I'm not really sure, can get open against zone. That, there you go. You got to be a little careful about that. You can't force it. It's not always open. Against man, especially, because I mean, it will be when he turns up the field. But here we go once again. He runs into the hitches, and that's why he's wide open. So you have to watch to see if you actually get the interference. You can't just force it out there. You can't just chuck it out there every time. And once again, got that man. Like I said, we get the pick, and I didn't get any acceleration, or I might have had a much bigger play. But really good play against any man or zone, especially with the motion. So I could go B here right off the bat, I know. And I could go RB. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just stealing. As I try to turn up, it accidentally went out of bounds. So that's a really good play. And I haven't even really mentioned these routes here. They're really good routes too. You can see right there, we can steal that outside route very easily. So you don't have to, as I got hit there, you don't have to motion him out. As I could have threw that immediately to him out of the backfield, which is a little bit better. As you can see, like I'm you know, it's better to hide the play. If you make that motion out on that running back, a lot of times your opponent's going to see it and they're going to start reacting to it very quickly. But that's fine, because you can also use that as a diversion. You can use that as a distraction to go the other way. So if you want to hit this, you know, hit the B route, motion this guy out, maybe the user goes over there because he knows nothing else is stopping it, and you just go the other way. So this is a very hard play to stop because of that wheel getting opening. This is about everything. Next up, we have the Dig Z spot, one of my favorite. Just put B on a streak, pulling back for the zones, and now we have right side zone, left side man. It's really that simple. Watch this guy in the flat. If he's open, just take it right away. And here it looks like it's going to be a man, so like I said, we'll just go right to that zig route on the other side. As we can watch that zig to determine if it's man or zone, or we can watch the flat route to determine if it's man or zone. Zigs aren't a guarantee, though, as we have, I don't know what that coverage is, but you can see we got a big play there. And that's also going to be very big against cover 2, obviously. As we get that flat, like I said, it's really simple. Just watch the flats, watch the short route to determine if you should throw to the deep routes. If the short routes are open, whether on the man side or the zone side, the flat for the zone side, the man side being the zig, take it right away, don't hold it. You can get good catch and runs if you throw it out quickly. Next up, we have the drive stutter flat. Keep going random. Really just got a high-low once again out here. Gets open really quickly. First man or zone on the left side and on the right side. I mean, they really have man or zone beaters on both sides of the play here. where you can work the outside or you can work the inside over the middle with these guys. I like putting the running back on a curl, though, because you can see how everybody's chasing everything else, and that just allows this guy to get forgotten over the middle. So definitely want to put him on a curl for a good check down if they forget about that over the middle. All right, we're going to do man zero blitz here. As we motion this guy across, we get an isolation on that side. And this route absolutely cooks man zero outside, so we just have a very easy catcher on one play touchdown against that, and probably cover one. Although cover one shades inside, and you don't necessarily even have to make the motion, but it's going to shade to the outside, I mean, to try to get you to force you inside of the safety. But you can see how it still really cooks that. So you have a really dangerous play on both man cover one and zero, and cover two man. So we'll go ahead and do that again. Motion this guy across is going to align everybody, and this guy is going to have a really clean release to the outside. That might not be a one-play touchdown, but it's at least a very big play. We have the slip screen, which doesn't have any secondary routes, but since everything's pulling back, this is a pretty good option, as you're going to have all the streaks pulling everything back, allowing for this to get open, but you don't have a second route option really. Next up, out of the tight open, we're going to start off with some run plays, starting off with the inside zone. Pick random. This is spread look, so if your opponent doesn't have enough guys inside the box, you can always run the ball. Like right here, you see the linebackers spread out, so it's a perfect opportunity to just take an inside handoff. It's really that simple. If they're spread before the snap, like right here, there's space to the other side, so I could always work my way that way for a very easy play. Once again, nobody on the right side. Just kind of work my way back, even though the handoff leads me in the other direction. And you can see how you can have a lot of success. Here's no secondary, no linebackers. You know what I mean? So if you see this, just switch over. Make sure you're keeping a run play in your audibles, and you can have a very big play like that. Next up, we have the mesh spot. This is another play where it's really just all about the drags, who can pull for the B receiver also. So all three of these routes are going to be man and zone beaters, with the X receiver being a part of it too. And if you have like a cover zero or a cover one, you can see how the running back on a wheel route can be a one-play touchdown. So that's something that's obviously available that could score. That was a cover zero, but it's really about the drags and the comeback route, the curl over the middle. Now there is a play that plays off that in the vertical halfback burst. This play here is going to be best against cover two and cover three. Just put A and B on streaks, and if you want to pull the field even further apart, you can motion one of these guys out, and then you can see how against like cover two, although that wasn't a very good throw. That throw was like very leaning inside. But if you want to throw above the cornerback on either one of these sides, you should be able to do that. As I want to get this out to the boundary a little bit more, as you can see, there's definitely space out there for an easy catch and run one-play touchdown. Although I'm not sure what happened on Dotson's side, so we'll do that one more time. And I'll try to get that, make that up. The running back is in a really good spot too, as that side appears not to be working as well. I don't know if it's because of Dotson. We'll leave the A route alone. Against cover two, you don't really have to do that. He'll pull inside a little bit more. As you can see, that pulled the safety in much better, and we get that one-play touchdown on the other side. So you don't necessarily have to streak against cover two if you know your opponent's running cover two. But against cover three, you do. So we'll go and pick cover three next, starting off with cover three sky. Make the same adjustments. Where here we're pulling the safety over by motioning this guy, which is going to be ideal. As you can see, he's just right up the seam there. For a potential catcher on one-play touchdown, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on that. You can also do the tight end also. Next up, the vertical halfback burst, we're going to go against cover two. So custom stem Y up, put A on a drag, put B on a 10-yard out route. And I should have blocked the running back, but we're just going to see how this works. As you can see that this guy here can split the safeties for a potential catcher on one-play touchdown, especially if you have a little bit of a faster receiver. Next up, we have the halfback quick base. This here is the same thing. It's just a little bit better because you have that pull and guard. And a lot of times that'll be better to go outside. So if you have the two linebackers inside, this might be the better play to the outside. But I'll wait till I see that actual look where I have two linebackers in the middle, like right here in a zero blitz, as I really didn't have an opportunity to take that outside either. But if you have the two linebackers in the middle, a lot of times you can follow this blocker and break it outside. So this here is probably the better run of the two because you have that lead blocker. But I don't know, the inside zone might be better because it's a little more straightforward. Here's the two tight. Here's the two linebackers once again. So now we have that pulling block, and like I said, it's better for that two linebacker look, where the inside zone is better for the one linebacker look, where there's a linebacker missing. Next up, we have the slip screen. The screen is the play, but you do have the ability to throw this other guy, even though they were just getting straight mugged. But I just like the fact that you have another option. And even though you're throwing off your back foot, it's not the end of the world. It's still a good. You don't seem to get as much of a penalty with that. But obviously, the best play is going to be to the running back, as you get all the blocking over here. So this is obviously the best way to go. Next up, we have some good run plays and some good RPO plays, which I didn't really think that I went over too much here. Starting off with the inside zone, although that's not the best run play, it's still decent enough, as this formation can pull out the linebackers to the point where you can just hit them with an inside zone because of the three wide receivers spread the way they are. This can be a very effective play if you see that look. If you see where there's a linebacker missing in the middle of the field here, like it's happened on the last couple of plays, although there I kind of accelerated into them. That's more my fault. But like right here where there's two linebackers in the middle, then you want to switch to like a run play or something like that. But if there's one linebacker in the middle, inside zone is the way to go. Next up, we have another man play out of the mesh whips. We'll continue to pick random man. As these whip routes here, and even the running back, I mean, there's won't play touchdowns to this in this play to be had, like the running back, which can be if he catches that running through the ball. If it's a cover two man, which this looks like it could be, you can put the wide receiver on a streak to pull back, and the double post here can be a big play too. So I would say the wheel routes of cover one, well, that is a cover two. And then you also have, I mean, I'll try to get this cover one touchdown again here, as we didn't get it last time. But you can see as very big play at the very least. And then all these other routes are good checkdowns, like the whip routes. The tight end whip route's probably better, as I'll hit that one on the next play. The tight end seems to be a better version, as they're both running whips, but that's a better version there. And then you also have the B receiver, which can get open right over the middle against just about any man coverage. It's every route here is a man beater, with two being one play touchdowns. Next up, out of the trio Y flex, we have the motion corner slot choice. I'm going to go random here. Got kind of a double drags concept going on here, but I like the speed out route, as this route here is really the reason I would call this play. It's going to be just about every single defense in the game. But like I said, you have that drag. I would say it's probably best to put the choice route into a drag also, so you have double drags to go with this concept over here, because these double drags could be just about anything. Although it looks like you're going to have to re-drag the tight end if you want to keep that drag look. The running back's a decent route option also. But you can see how that motion pulls in the cornerback to the point where we can really just throw to the speed out route all day. So he's just kind of creates that, creates the motion response that gives the cornerback that outside leverage that he needs against just about every single defense, except for maybe cover two hard flats. So once again, brings the guy in. They can't drop back. Get an easy catch and run. That's really the basis for the play. And then also you have your drags, and your running back is a good check down over the middle as well. And last but not least, your man coverage play is the motion out and up, which is catch and run one play touchdown to the A receiver. As the pretty much every route here beats man, but if you throw this on that break, I mean, this dude's absolutely cooking cover zero for a one play touchdown catch and run. But you also have the curl, you also have the return, the Y receiver here. So you have a lot of really good man plays. But you also have the option to custom stem the motion route, which you see I can bring down. And he has the ability to beat his defender as well. but it's not as nearly as reliable. As you can see, that it doesn't work as well as the other routes. But lots of good man beaters. Next up, we have the PA crossers. It's going to be a one-play touchdown against lots of different things. We'll start off with Tampa 2. No real adjustments needed. The mid-read here gets pulled, although I got smacked there. But the mid-read gets pulled by the B receiver, getting the Y receiver open right over the middle of the field. This PA crosser is one of the easiest plays to run in the game, and we'll call that a tutty. Next, we'll pick the cover 3. Where are we at here? Cover 3 PA crossers. Concept to concept, cover 3 sky. And once again, no real adjustments needed. The Y receiver here just gets wide open because the crosser, once again, pulls the cornerback down. No adjustments needed. Next up, we're going to pick same play and cover 3 match. So we're going to put B on a slot fade and custom stem him down to 0. That's just so he doesn't run into the other receivers and lose acceleration. As you can see right here, he just gets wide open for a very easy one-play touchdown. Might have the same effect against cover 4. Let's go and let's see. Cover 4 match. Quarters. So slot fade one more time. And it does work the exact same way. Very easy one-play touchdown. Might work the same way against palms. Cover 4 palms. So streak B and the Y receiver here is a really good man beater and can also get open pretty easily against cover 4 because it's a similar matching concept. Next up, we're going to do some cover 4 regular. And I don't think we're going to need any adjustments once again. As that B receiver holds that cornerback down one more time, allowing this guy to get right over the top. Next up, we're going to do cover 6. Cover 6, doesn't really matter which one. No adjustments once again, although the wide receiver was already open. That was crazy. So yeah, that was just instant. As we're on the cover 2 side here. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we're on the cover 4 side. As you can see, you probably want to hold a little bit longer. I mean, realistically, the way this is looking, I can probably just put Y on a streak. And it's just like, you know, parting like the Red Sea. I wonder if the cover 4 works the same way, because that was way easier. Next up, we have the RPO lit bubble, where you watch the guy in front of the bubble screen. If he doesn't drop down immediately on the bubble, throw it out to the bubble. It's really that simple. Really easy catch and run. That's only going to be zone, though, where the A receiver can beat man or zone. And if you custom stem him down, I find that route gets open even faster. But you also have a run play, as you can see right here, with nobody up the middle. So if there's no linebackers up the middle, you can use this as your inside run. Here we have 2. It's probably like a cover 0 blitz, so we just get it out there. Like I said, we can make that pre-snap read. Don't have to wait to see where the play goes. As there, I actually tried to swing it out to the bubble, but it just auto-handed off. I don't know if you can hold on to this since you have an A route here. It doesn't look like you can hold on to it, keep it with the quarterback, but you have a good run with the right side. That's your zone beater, or the man beater on the right side, zone beater on the left side, real easy. Next up, we have the shock H option, which is really going to be a cover 2 play. So let's pick cover 2. B on a streak, X on a smoke. And the B on the streak can cook because a lot of times the mid-read's not really reacting to it. So you really have your choice here. So we can really go to the Y receiver, which is a good play, or the B receiver, which is a good play. One play touchdown capable one play. As you can see, the mid-read there, I don't know if that was the mid-read was late, but like I said, very easy play against cover 2. Probably the best cover 2 play in the formation.